I have been wanting to do this for literally over a year, and it's never quite worked out, but today, for the very first time, we are going hunting and fishing in the same video. So on this excursion, we'll be hunting here on Silver Ridge Peaks, and then jumping over to Caldwell the Angler and fishing on Golden Ridge Reserve. I feel like those two maps probably mirror each other the best, and because when we get back to our fictional truck here to go fishing, our fictional truck is loaded with a bunch of fishing gear, I went light on our weapons, just carrying the 7mm and our sidearm of a 22 pistol. And that is one other good thing about choosing Silver Ridge Peaks for the hunting aspect of this video. We actually can get away with just a 2-weapon loadout and ethically hunt everything on the map. And because we might not get a lot of mileage out of the 22 pistol today, with a decent gobbler running up through here, we'll go ahead and take that. Didn't need the second shot at all. I would love to get, maybe a diamond turkey or some kind of rare turkey as we go along, but most likely we'll be focusing on bigger game. And I mean, technically this had a slight chance. 4.50 is not bad. Lung and liver shot, actually. Not bad from the 22 either on the run. And we're going to keep on scooting down through here. It is bison drink time. We do have one true horns diamond bison, but I certainly wouldn't complain about having a whole bunch more, so we're going to check some of those lakes. And at our very first stop, we do have one decent male back there in a kind of awkward spot. It's a shot that I think we can make if the one stays out of the way. And again, with the 7mm, maybe a little bit underpowered compared to what we'd like to have, but I'm gonna try to slot that straight in there. I don't think we got the heart, but it did send him aggressive, so we did get a lung. He's going down and he's absolutely not gonna be able to get here before he drops. Not too bad from the 7mm. That was an awkward shot to even go for. So definite gold as a level 4, probably 160s, 166 in fact, and that almost got the heart. I think if the shot were a little higher and actually dead center, it might have just gotten it. Because I think where we are, it was going to just fall a little bit short. Not bad though. Lung and liver? I think that bullet punched through more than this is actually showing. Therefore, had we actually put it in the center of the chest, that would have absolutely got the heart. Not bad. No way. There is no way. Look at that. A really nice albino mule deer buck. Definitely a gold. I knew I saw something white, but I thought it was like the rear end of a pronghorn. That is absurd. He's in a good spot too. Like, I don't know where we spooked him from exactly, but there's a lot of real estate out there where we might just catch him nervous. We're going to go ahead and get the 7mm ready, and we're just going to sit here, at least for the moment, so we don't run out of breath. If he does stop, kind of like that, but he's still in the fleeing state, that's interesting. Why did they just turn around? I am halfway terrified to like take this shot on the move. At the same time, that's not a good area to track them through if he's going over there. I don't know if we're going to do this or not. If he's still fleeing, which these ones are, maybe we can catch him doing that where they slow up just a little bit. He's going to keep this ready. Now they're going back that way. Just went to nervous there at about 175 meters. I think we can just go for this, but we might as well use the 22 to alert him. Gonna shoot out ahead of him there. That is going to slow him down. And if we can get him to stand still for just a sec, I'm going to go one more step here. Definitely hit him. And it looks like we got along with the 7mm. That kind of scared me that we didn't immediately drop him, but same as the shot on the bison, it's going to get into a lung. That is absurd. We haven't shot, like, an albino mule deer, like at least a good albino mule deer buck, in maybe years. I don't even remember the last one. And of course, this being multiplayer, we are hightailing it over here. Managed to be in this server for 30 minutes with no problems, but it would be a bad time to find out there are problems, so gonna quick tax that. A 241 gold, and we were good too. We weren't even close to being too low. Interesting there. Compared to the bison, that bullet didn't punch through much at all, unless it really did go further through the lung and the harvest screen just isn't showing it. I love that rack though. It's kind of a smaller version of even some of the diamond racks, and I think like the big melanistic we have is something like this with the stickers, but when I think of a big mule deer, that's always what I'm imagining, like those stickers off the tines. That is a nice frame. Of all the potential racks for like a mid-sized gold mule deer, that might be my absolute favorite one. We're 28 minutes into this actually, and we've already gotten probably the kill of the hunt. And just because we're going to be heading to the angler later, it's been a blast to chase legendaries, diamonds, even big golds. However, if we ever see some like unique patterns and rares, that could really take the angler to the next level, and just because we just shot an albino, it got me thinking about it. So coming back around to bison for a moment, got another group at the Mount here. There's actually 2 herds on opposite sides of this lake, and I don't think any are all that special. That level 3 there may be the best one, so we might go ahead and try to get that. I guess there were more here. I hadn't even seen those. These are all level 3s too, but then got one there. I mean, that's the same estimate. Maybe due to the range, we'll actually just try to get this guy. Gotta get into where we can see just over that grass a little bit more. I think this might be just enough. When he passes through here, we can get him spotted. And that shot should find its mark in lungs. No drop shots yet from the 7mm, but pretty confident. And now we can see the health going down. That'll get him. And if I'm not mistaken, by the way, I think the reason he had a good estimate and probably scored better than most level 3s at 163 is that tip-to-tip spread. If we go to the true score, the parameters show like horn length, tip-to-tip spread, overall spread. I'm looking at this, and I just think he's wider set than your average level 3 bison, so that's only a couple points lower than the level 4 we got. And I don't want to focus solely on bison. What I'm thinking we might do is maybe go down into here. Is one of the better areas for mountain goats now. What we could do is maybe spawn here, check out this lake, then actually go up a little bit north to this lake. Now, it's all females, at least as far as I can tell, but this might be the most mountain goats I've seen in one spot since kind of the changes. Typically, it's just 1 or 2 here and there. So I guess we might as well go ahead and try to get one of these females. I was hoping for a level 3 because a couple of these 2s are decent. And it turns out if you shoot a tree, it doesn't do too good to take down a mountain goat, but we'll take that one. And we're going to keep on scooting up through here along this road. I do find that as well, and maybe it's just Silver Ridge Peaks as a whole, because typically if you do just kind of hunt along the roads on the map, you will spot a lot of animals feeding near the roads. And with mountain goats specifically, I do find that to be the case. If we just kind of hunt along this road or this road all the way up north, typically there are some literally right on it. But anyway, it does look like shot number 2 found its mark, got into the left lung. Somehow. Maybe it was phasing us a little more. We shot over the spine and got into the far side lung, but a 69 scoring silver. Really curved horns on that too. And let's see if we can run into more as we move up towards the Sun Sisters Lake. Now that's not a bad looking level 4. I think it's the one that we've been tracking here. So unfortunately no potential diamond, but much better than the level 2 female we shot. If he'll kind of turn back our way, just went nervous. I think he's gonna do that. That'll drop him in his tracks, and that's looking a little bit better. I didn't know there were so many, like, down this road. Also, I didn't know there was someone just over there on the other side of the lake, but apparently that's a good spot. There were a bunch more females along that road, and to be fair, we don't really hunt mountain goats that often anymore, but I think it's partially due to the fact that they don't drink anymore. There are no more drink zones, and just also partially due to the fact that we don't really go after them despite that. This is the thing I miss about Silver Ridge Peaks a little bit more. The big horns on mountain goats, even just a 101 scoring gold. They are just really, really well designed. But anyway, we're going to continue our way down through here, see what else we can find on Silver Ridge Peaks. I don't know what this guy's deal is, but if he's just going to stand there, the last thing I really wanted to try to get today was an elk. And he's not a bad one, but I honestly have no clue what's making him just stand around. But regardless, especially given our albino mule deer buck, I think we may go back to the trophy lodge with that. I'm thinking that may be a main lodge edition, just specifically because of the rack, not so much the size of gold that he is. And then I think we'll go grab the fishing tackle. And not too bad. We had a couple of feral goats here. I think we're gonna do maybe, I kind of like that front-facing pose because you can see the stickers, but it might be about time to take down some of our diamond feral goats in the lodge. We had a whole bunch. I feel like they were more common when Te Aroa first came out, and I think that guy just looks a whole lot better there next to the Diamond Roosevelt and Sika deer. So nice little addition there. Definitely did not expect to get something that good in an hour on Silver Ridge Peaks, but now we'll head to Golden Ridge Reserve and see who we can pull out of the water. Now, when I think of fishing in a place like Silver Ridge Peaks based in Montana, I think of mountain rivers and creeks fishing for trout. So that is going to be our main focus today. We've got 2 different rods rigged up for different size fish, And we're going to cast out in here, targeting brook trout, cutthroat trout, rainbow trout, whatever we can get to bite. And hopefully we can pull something big out of here. And go figure, looks like our first fish today might be off a flow fishing rig. Just gotta make sure we don't jump the gun and try to set the hook a little too early. I can't tell what that is. Might be, is that a brook trout? If it is, it's not a bad one. And that may explain why he wouldn't hit, because brook trout are a little bit smaller than the other species we're after today. That is, I mean, not a bad one at 4.5 pounds silver. But even that might be a little bit too small to hit on a hook size 5 spoon, which is primarily what we're using on the smaller rod. So we may switch it up and grab a size 6 before we get too far. But I at least want to get to this waterfall here and cast right into it. We always have good luck doing that, so we gotta give that a try. And we got something coming after a spoon lure as well here. Now this is the size 5 spoon. Might be a orid. I can't tell what that is. It looks to be an orid trout, which is not one of the species I mentioned at the very beginning here. But if we can pull them all out of this river by the time we're done, that would be fantastic. An almost 3-pounder, and they don't hit the spoons as much. So nice to catch that one. And that's basically going to be the plan. We're going to go with the smaller spoon a couple of times. If we're getting hits from smaller fish, then we'll swap to the bigger spoon, just in case the smaller fish are getting there too fast for a potential big one to actually go and hit. Ooh, okay. That's a good sign. Pretty decent tension on that too. That is a solid looking fish down there. Might be a rainbow, but even at that, not half bad. That was right there in the rapids where we couldn't actually see. Probably going to be a silver. Not terrible at 7 pounds. I think that makes it our biggest fish thus far just based on weight. And I think because we've pretty well fished all around here, we can go and cast at the bottom of this waterfall. And I think if we give it a couple of tries, we ought to get at least something. Ooh, that's a big fish. I don't know what that is doing coming after this, but we will absolutely take it. Looks like a cutthroat? We were looking at a way smaller, maybe brook trout or something. Depending on how big this actually is, could be a little more interesting on our lighter setup. Finally took this. Do you hear it? Take in line. We're going to bring the drag up a little bit to 50%. I think we're going to be able to just bring him right in. This still is, I think, 27-pound test. But I did not expect that to come spin over here. There's a 7.24-pound cutthroat. So we've already had a solid fish for pretty much everything other than orids. And all I was doing, by the way, was changing sides. I wanted to cast back into the waterfall from the other side because we couldn't quite reach that back corner. I actually don't know that we can. But well worth the trip over here. And hey, if it ain't broke, we'll just keep on fishing with the red worms in the calmer water. No idea what this might be. That's taking a little line too at 50% drag. I like this. This might be a spot we should play with a little bit more. Interesting though, we're having all our success on a size 6 hook with the red worms, and basically no success on a size 5 spoon. That is another nice cutthroat. By the way, these cutthroat absolutely should hit a size 5 spoon, so I'm not sure why this is working so much better, but we will just continue with this if that's going to be the case. 5.24 pounds for that guy, so a little bit smaller, but still, we'll take it. And honestly, I think we might just keep on casting out here. We could go up maybe a hook size, but it would kind of eliminate brook trout, which is another thing I do actually want to target. They look great in this game. Now, I did specifically mention going to these areas because of the type of fishing that I imagine on a map like Silver Ridge Peaks or Golden Ridge Reserve, and I was more thinking of lure fishing in these creeks and rivers. So after this fish, we may go ahead and swap back to the spoon and keep on moving, because we're kind of getting distracted in this good spot. But solid rainbow here. I'm thinking he's maybe 8-9 pounds based on tension, and we're catching everything on this smaller rod, but doing everything he can to shake that hook free. I think we're going to be able to just kind of haul him on in here. Got him to 10 feet in secured. 9.66 pounds. That does make him our biggest one. Still a little shy of the gold mark, but I think I may mark this area on the map. And by the way, if you do play Call of the Wild the Angler, a really important thing that I just recently found out, and a lot of people also didn't know how to do, when you go to set your waypoint, you can also just add a marker. And what we're going to put here is probably just this icon. Then we can click on it, set a label, and we'll probably choose, because we did pretty good with the cutthroats, we'll put a cutthroat label on it. Now when we mouse over, you can see in the top left, cutthroat trout, we can remember we want to come back here and target those. And right away, got a hit on our size 5 spoon. Now, I can't, that is a cutthroat, right? If that's a brook trout, that's a really nice one. That is a brook trout. A gold, in fact, at 6.5 pounds. Now, that is awesome. Definitely gonna screenshot that. I'm glad we have some light left. Like I said, they just look so good in this game. The pattern is perfectly done. And I don't know how big they get. I don't think it's a ton bigger than that. But the reason that we're going to this particular spot, and if you didn't know, there are huge spreadsheets with basically all the comprehensive info you could ever need in Call of Duty the Angler in their Discord. And those spreadsheets include some of the diamond locations where people have successfully caught diamonds. Both brook trout and cutthroat trout have been caught right near this bridge. That's why we're heading up there. And I love to see that in our very first cast. That's a good sign. Got another bite down here. Same size 5 spoon. Can't really tell what it is. It's not a lot of tension though, which might just be a good thing. Can we tell what that is? I think that's a little rainbow actually. I mean, we'll take it. Little bit of weight, a little bit of XP, and credits. That always helps us out. Just a 4.5 pounder. So good to know those are in here too. I thought that low tension might have meant actually it was going to be a brook trout, but let's keep on scooting up here. I don't think I've casted this way yet. This seems like a decent little spot here. So we've arrived at the bridge, and the only problem that we're encountering is it's pretty much nighttime on this map, which I think that's okay. We may shift gears here. Still gonna cast out a little bit, but all the fish that we're targeting, all these trout species, are daytime active fish. Now, that's not to say you can't catch them at night, and not to say you can't catch decent ones at night, but we've actually done pretty well for ourselves. That gold brook trout was a huge plus, and what I think we'll actually do is go ahead and maybe target some walleye. So we'll give this a few more casts. We'll kind of cast on both sides of the bridge just in case there is a big one sitting here waiting, and then we'll go after walleye. And the good news is very few changes needed to our setup. We can still fish the rivers. Got a walleye that was sitting right there off the bank. We can still fish with the size 4 spoon lure. Big walleye, big cutthroats, big rainbows, they're all in that same general size range. So this should still work for potentially silvers or golds. If we're catching a bunch, we'll go up a size. If we're not catching too many, the red worms should still work just like it did earlier. There's a fish. Looks like a walleye at the surface. And I'm going to try not to get tricked by them because they look enormous. I think they might be a little oversized like the actual models. Like when this happens, they always look just like giants. So gonna try not to freak out too much. That's a okay one at 3 pounds. I think the biggest one we caught was like an 11-pound gold. So they get way bigger than that. I think diamonds in that area of like 15 pounds, something like that. But we are approaching a weekly goal there. We need 2 more bronze plus to get to that. And we should at least be able to get that far with walleye fishing. Like, look at this guy swimming around right in front of us. He's just feet away. Might as well see if we can get him if he's just gonna sit there. There's a channel cat down there too. Ooh, and a very respectable looking sturgeon. I think the sturgeon's coming to get this. I don't think there's gonna be much of a fight involved. But at least at first glance, that looks solid. He is gonna take that. Let's just kind of haul him in here. I can't tell exactly how big that is. Not too bad. Almost 4 pounds. Gold's like 5. Kind of going through a bunch of different species here. The funny thing is that walleye didn't seem to care. Let's try this again. And go figure. We end up with a little channel cat hitting that instead. So that at least will, assuming we can go ahead and catch it, complete our weekly goal. And I'm not sure, maybe the walleye don't care as much for redworms. So considering they are kind of the target species here, we'll probably switch up the bait to something they'd more prefer. And if we go into the handbook, maybe we can find that out. They are just down here. Leeches, minnows, or crankbaits. So let's try, I know leeches, catfish will hit too. Maybe minnows? That's gonna work. And by the way, that actually is a decent one. That one behind him is way, way smaller. Taking some line there. So interesting, he didn't hit the spoon lure, but at 50%, he's still pulling out a little bit of line. We can just go ahead and increase the drag and bring him the rest of the way in. Gotta imagine that's actually a decent fish, and we almost kind of just let him go, because he didn't seem interested in the size 4 spoon lure. He will not let us actually land him. We have him right here. There we go. What actually is this guy? 8-pounder. Not bad at all. So let's keep on scooting up through here. Maybe we will try to stick with the spoon lure now that we caught that one that was right at our feet, but worked out. Got a couple of bonus fish along the way. Ooh, that's a pretty good looking one. I said I wasn't going to fall for this. They always look big when they're coming in. Just came in and caught this at the last second. We're at 80% drag, so not much can be determined based on the line tension there. 8-pounder again, and that is on the size 4 spoon, so theoretically we could go up a size since we are just catching a couple of silvers. Suppose we'll try that and see. The silver one for size 3, and I think it's like size 2 for diamond walleye, or maybe even size 1. Now that's a good sign. Anything on this size 3 spoon has the potential to be a decent walleye. However, I kind of think that might have been a rainbow trout, but whatever this is, and that will confirm it's a rainbow, it will be our 45th fish caught in this weekly challenge, which in fact will complete it. And I think that's probably going to be our last catch of the day. Not a bad rainbow by any stretch, almost an 11-pounder. I think that makes it our biggest one today. And that is going to complete that challenge, so almost 700 XP for that. And I do want to just take you back to Call of the Wild for just a second. Now, I will readily admit this is almost definitely never going to happen, but just for a moment, imagine if instead of just looking at this, we could look at something like this along with it. I know the devs of Call Out the Angler are really big on catch and release, but a lot of fish taxidermy is often actually replicas, so I think it would be really cool if we could have some kind of replica. I imagine if they were ever to go that route, it would just be in Call Out the Angler, but because we kind of combined the two games, I wanted to dream a little bit and think what it would be like to have trophy fish and trophy animals in the same lodge. For me, that actually makes more sense than just a trophy fish lodge. I know that is a thing, but I feel like more often you see a little bit of a combination of both. So just some food for thought. I thought it would look pretty neat, and this is definitely something we're going to do again. I'm thinking we may go Reventuli Coast and the Norway Reserve next. Kind of similar, not exactly the same, but I think close enough to have a fun little video. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.